Pruning your Hydrangea Macrophyllas. These are your most sort of common hydrangea that you're going to see. Often you see them, they're pink or they're blue. These ones happen to be white. This whole planting scheme here is white hydrangeas with all different types of flowers. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run through the basics. Now firstly, again, as I've said with roses before, don't panic. Hydrangeas are very tough plants and they actually respond very well to a hard prune. The worst you're probably going to do to a hydrangea by over pruning it is cut off the flowers for the next year. But even if you do that, it's going to come back. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to look at the structure of this plant. So the way we actually like to prune hydrangeas is something called rejuvenation pruning. And what that means is we're going to cut out about 1/3 of the old stems at the base. What that does is it actually encourages lots of fresh growth. So every 3 years, you've almost got a completely new plant. So first of all, we're going to have a look down here. And one problem you often get with hydrangeas, especially if they haven't been rejuvenation pruned for a while, is you get a bit of rot setting in at the base. This often happens when things like this, leaves are collecting. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up, remove some big stems, and then we're going to clear out in between so that there's a decent airflow. So we'll start with this one first. Slip that out at the base. And then we're also looking for stems like this, which this one's obviously died. So we want to remove that right back to the source. Now, as I'm starting to open this up, you'll actually see there's quite a few of these nice fresh stems which have appeared from last year, where we've pruned some of the older stems back to the base. These ones we're actually going to leave on, okay? Especially ones like this, which haven't even flowered. We're actually not going to touch that stem at all. If you do prune a stem like this back, what you might actually do is prevent it flowering this year. So anything that's nice and fresh like this, we're just going to leave alone. Anything like this, where we've got a flower on it, we're actually going to trace it back to a strong set of buds, and we're just going to nip that off there. So we'll just work our way round. Something else we're actually looking for while we're pruning these is these little dead dry stems. They're actually not going to be productive this year. So that's something else we're also going to be looking to cut out. And again, that's going to help to open up this structure. You'll see as I start to cut these back, we're then able to start removing some of this dead material, the leaves, anything that's clogging it up in there, we want to get rid of, because that's really going to help prevent that rot setting in that we spoke about. I'm just going to work our way around. Right, so now we've opened this up, we've cleared out all this stuff from the base. You can really see all of these new fresh shoots that are ready to rejuvenate in the spring and come through and provide some nice new stems ready for flowering next year. What we've also got here, which is quite unusual, well I say it's unusual, it does happen, but it's a good opportunity to show you, is we've got a stem that's actually layered itself onto the ground. Now, what that means is with layering, a stem actually touches the soil and then it produces roots. So what we're actually able to do now is cut that stem back from the host plant and actually remove it. And if you have a look here, what you'll see, some lovely fresh fibrous roots. You've got this little bit of fresh growth here. And if you repot that or plant it somewhere else where you've got a gap in the border, that will actually grow back and form a complete new plant. Now we've obviously removed a lot of the big stems, we've got a few of these stems that are left on, which have got your seed heads on. All we're going to do is just remove those flower heads. Try not to snap any stems while we're doing it, and remove any of these shoots which are weak, spindly, or have got disease. It's a Hydrangea Macrophylla, all pruned and ready for the spring.